Penny asks me all the time, "Are you missing it?" And I'm like, "No." You know, my friends will hit me up like, "It was opening week. Do you miss it?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, I don't. I'm really good."
As a fierce competitor now in retirement, how do you feed that itch that want to compete without stepping back onto a basketball court?
Yeah, I mean, I still work out every single morning at 9:30, so I think I'm still in somewhat of a routine. But I've found some other things that I've really enjoyed. I've played a lot more golf in the last year than I have in the last 5 years, which is something that I've always loved to do, but just always kept it a little bit in the back. So I've been trying other things, but for the most part, just enjoying daily life, all the little things that I've missed for the last 20 years. Um, and not necessarily physically, but I think mentally. Um, I didn't understand the strain I was under because I was so obsessed with everything from the nutrition part to the regimented pre-workout, post-workout, off-season, all the things that towards the end of my career got pretty heavy.
Is there anything that you possibly miss about playing that you didn't know realize that you missed it in retirement?
And to be honest, I don't miss one thing. I really don't. Penny asks me all the time, "Are you missing it?" And I'm like, "No." My friends will hit me up like, "It was opening week. Do you miss it?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, I don't. I'm really good." Like I squeezed every last little bit of juice out of the orange, and now I'm enjoying it.
There was a really big matchup over the weekend, Fever Sky. It was the largest or most viewed matchup in ESPN history during an opening weekend. What do you think about when you hear some of those big viewership stats like that?
I think it's amazing. Obviously we want the game to be the best it can be and at the forefront. And it just shows you the power of these marketing companies.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
They want something to be cool, they'll make it cool. And obviously we have such great talent in our league right now. And I think you see the injection of obviously funds and companies and fanfare, and it's amazing to watch. It really is.
Okay, so I also want to give your opinion on a few other things. So you were famously a physical player. So when you see something like the physicality of the Fever in Sky Game and that big reaction that a lot of people are having, do you think that people are overreacting, or do you think that reactions like this kind of come with the territory of the growth?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, the minute there's more eyes on the games, there's, more opinions on the game. There are more angles of every single little action in the game. And, as far as the physical part of the game, I mean, it's something that's always been there. If anything, the game was less physical than it's ever been, which is pretty funny. If you talk to, people who have been in the league for the last 10 years, if you ask Stewie and, some of the older players, NECA, the physicality of the game every year goes down a little bit. And I think that's a good thing. I think people want to see skilled, amazing athletes be able to do great things on the court. And, when the game gets too physical, that's not something that's available. So I think there is a balance to how physical the game should be, but I think it's in a good place.
All right, let's talk some Paige Bueckers. There, of course, will be a lot of chatter surrounding Paige. So I want to ask you, what are some of the early challenges that she'll face this season, or was there something that you faced as a rookie that maybe you weren't aware that would be a thing?
I mean, Paige is such a great kid. Being around her for the last couple years at Connecticut, she just has this great way about her. She knows how to put everything in perspective, which is something she's going to have to really hone in on in the next 2 3 months. When you go to a school like Connecticut, you don't lose a lot. I don't know. I think she's lost maybe 6 games her whole career. And now she's looking for her first WNBA win. These are all the things she's going to have to get used to in a way of being able to play a game, it not go your way, and be able to bounce back the next night. I think my rookie year we started at 0-4, and I'm like, are we ever going to win a game? And at that time, there were a lot of eyes on, how far can we go in the playoffs? And it's like we're just trying to win a game. So I think you just have to be patient, which Paige is. She takes everything in stride. She prepares so well for games and for the season. All these are going to be learning experiences for her, and frankly, for all the rookies and for second year and third year players. It's everything's a progression once you get to the WNBA.
Okay, so let's talk about the CBA. So obviously negotiations are in full swing. As a former player, what's one potential thing that you believe that like not enough people are actually talking about?
Yeah, retirement healthcare. Uh, there's a lot of things. When we talk about the CBA and negotiations, look, there's always two sides. There's things that the players are going to want that they think are musts, and then they're going to be, talking points from the owners and the league that are musts. And you always try to meet in the middle to make it better for both sides. Like anything, you need both sides to be on the same page for this league to keep going and keep using this momentum and this moment to really take it to the next place in the next 20, 30 years. So to me, it's always been player salary. I think that's for me always been at the top. We can talk about charters, we can talk about daily life and practice facilities and all these things. But at the end of the day, we need to be paid like we're the best players in the world. And I think that only comes through with salary. So that's always been number one on my list. Some people might think differently.
All right, let's do some fun questions. So first up, if you could have one WNBA moment back from your career, which would you take?
Good one. Um, One WB moment I wish I had back. Um, you know what? There was game four finals 2021. Um, I missed the layup, and I think we were up like four with 2 minutes to go. And that layup, if I would have made it, it would have put us in a really good position. So I would have took the layup back and made it, I guess. Yeah, I'll take
Okay.
that.
All right, and so let me ask you this. Is there a tech that you received in your career that you feel was totally worth it?
Oh, there was a lot that were really worth it. That's one thing. When I got a technical, I deserved it for sure. But there was one tea where I was talking to a ref very cordially. We were laughing it up, chopping it up. I walked away and he saw my bun move and he gave me a technical. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I got that one rescinded though.